Hello and welcome. Now, one of the ways that you will get people onto your email marketing list is when they purchase a product from you from a specific platform. And if you go to the integrations area of GetResponse, one of the ways that individuals do this is to use a third-party cloud-based connector like Zapier. However, Zapier is an additional charge. And before you take the step of making a purchase of Zapier in order to place people on your GetResponse list, you will want to first check to see if there are direct connections in the platform that you are using. Now, it's a good idea to go to your favorite search engine and type in GetResponse in integration. What you'll see is that there is an area called GetResponse integrations. You can check that area. That'll bring you to a page that says GetResponse integrations, and you can click on Browse integrations to see if the application that you are working with is inside of this area. And what you'll see is that GetResponse will tell you which integrations work with Zapier and which integrations are available within the GetResponse universe. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. One of the available integrations is for you if you use the course platform Teachable. And if you are logged into your Teachable account, you can then click Connect. You'll need to configure your school name and then determine which list you are going to be adding. You will then click Add School. What you will then need to do is to copy this webhook URL. And from within your school in Teachable, what you will do is you will add in the new webhook and you will then determine which event you want to happen. And in most cases, we're going to say all events. You can then save this element to your account. Now, for the sake of this video, we are not going to add this GetResponse webhook to this Teachable account. But once you add GetResponse, your students will automatically be added in the way in which you determined. Okay, so that thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, if you operate as a Go High Level agency, you will recognize the Go High Level agency dashboard. If you go into the app marketplace, and you can do that on your left side menu by clicking this area, you will see applications made available. Now, in many cases, these applications are created by a third party in order to connect to a connecting application, not necessarily by the platform itself. And we can type in GetResponse. What you're going to see here is that there is a paid application that you would be paying in addition to your Go High Level agency and works with the white label inside of your Go High Level agency. You'll also notice that the connection is not by GetResponse. It is a third party. And so there is a cost associated with it. So you can make Go High Level available to the customers inside of your agency. And what you'll be doing is installing it to your account. You'll need, though, to be aware that you will be billed for individuals that use this third-party connection. Now, this does not give them a GetResponse account. What this does is allows you to make GetResponse available within your Go High Level agency to the customers that you have. However, you will want to make sure you understand the specific permissions before you engage with this particular plugin. And as is the case with all plugins, you do want to make sure that this plugin is safe and working regardless of when you are watching this specific video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. If you sell products within the Warrior Plus network, you will want to make sure that with every purchase that a customer makes, that you'll have that individual added to your email marketing list. We are now inside of the new product screen, and assuming that you know how to put together a product, because this is not a full-blown tutorial on how to use Warrior Plus, you will scroll all the way to the bottom to the integrations and tracking area. And what you will do is you will click this button that says New Connection. What you will then do is you will click this button that says Service, and you will notice then that there is a GetResponse connection that you can make. If you have not previously connected GetResponse to your Warrior Plus account, you can click this link to start the connection. Warrior Plus will allow you to have multiple GetResponse accounts connected to your Warrior Plus profile. So we can give your specific account a name. What Warrior Plus requires from you is the GetResponse API key. And that is what you will place here in this area. To get the API key, you will go to the Tools area, You will then go to this link that says Integrations and API. You will then go to this area that says API. You will then name your API key. You will then click Generate. You will then copy your API key, and you'll need to make sure that you place this key someplace secure because you will not be able to see it again inside of your GetResponse account. When you come back to Warrior Plus, you will add the API key and then click Save. You'll need to close out of the service. What you'll need to do is to make a new connection again for the service. You'll then choose the service that you just created. And you can then connect GetResponse to this individual product so that every time an individual makes a purchase, they will be added to a specific list inside of your GetResponse account. Okay, so thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. If you use the JVZoo network in order to sell products, specifically digital products, you can connect your GetResponse account so that every time a person makes a purchase in your JVZoo account, they can then be added direct to your GetResponse account. If you go to your account area, you'll be brought to this screen of integrations. You'll see amongst the integrations is a GetResponse integration. You can click on that GetResponse integration. JVZoo will then ask you to place in your GetResponse API key. And you can get a new API key from the API section in your GetResponse account. So you will generate a new API key specifically for JVZoo. You will then click Generate. You will then add in your GetResponse key. Once your key has been added, you can then select your default campaign, and you can make your default campaign the list that you have created inside of GetResponse. And so now you can use this account whenever you are going to be selling a product to connect GetResponse to that purchase. Okay, so thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. If you use a platform like ThriveCart in order to sell products online, you can connect your GetResponse account. If you go into the settings area of your account, you're going to notice that you can view all of the integrations that are available. You can then select 4 specific autoresponders. You will notice the GetResponse logo. You can click on top of the logo and view the settings. Now currently, this ThriveCart account is already connected to a GetResponse account. However, to demonstrate the process, we are going to deauthorize the account with ThriveCart. And what we're now going to do is we're going to reauthorize GetResponse to work inside of this ThriveCart account. And what we'll need is an API key that we can get from GetResponse. And so we will generate an API key from within GetResponse. Once we get the API key, we can place the API key here in the dialog box and then click Authorize. And now ThriveCart can see inside of our account, and we can set it up so that when a product is purchased in ThriveCart, that individual is then added to our GetResponse list. Okay, so thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, GetResponse does have an area where you can use webhooks. And one of the things you'll notice about the webhooks in GetResponse is that they are for moving information out of GetResponse. GetResponse currently does not have a straightforward way of being able to use webhooks to bring information in. If you're using a Go High Level sub account and you want to use a webhook, you need the webhook URL from the platform in order to work with the automation. And that would actually be the same that you would need for GetResponse. So in other words, you need a webhook URL if you are going to transfer information out of a platform and move it into another platform. In the case of using webhooks, you need to move information out of another platform and into GetResponse in order to add people to your email marketing list. And so if you find that you have practically run out of options for integrating GetResponse to your platform, this is when it may be a good idea to turn to a third-party cloud-based connector like Zapier or Pabbly or Make.com. The service that you choose will obviously depend on the availability of your platform along with GetResponse. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. We are now inside of Gumroad, and one of the things that you'll notice is that the only way that we're going to be able to integrate our GetResponse account with our Gumroad activity, if that is where we're going to be selling products online, is that we will need to have a third party. In this particular case, you can enable Zapier as your third party in order to connect to Gumroad and other platforms that GetResponse may connect to. Now, inside of Zapier, GetResponse is an application that can be made available to connect platforms you are working with. As you can see, Gumroad is also a platform that we can connect to Zapier. Instead of needing to manually create webhooks, what we'll be able to do is to connect these two platforms through the use of Zapier. What that means is that when there is a new sale in Gumroad, we can set off an action inside of Zapier to connect to another cloud-based service that we are using. And we can make it so that when the sale occurs in Gumroad, we can set off an event inside of GetResponse. And what we can do is we can create or update a contact in GetResponse. And so in Zapier, what we would do is we would map out the connection. Once the connection is established, we can then click continue. Zapier will then have us to test the step. Once we do that, we can then publish the Zap. And basically, when there is a sale in Gumroad, we can then have the individual that made the purchase added to our GetResponse email marketing list. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. If you wanted to use System.io in order to add people to your email marketing list, what you'll notice is that if you go to the webhook area, you actually need a webhook URL in order to transfer information out. That means then that the webhook connection will not work within GetResponse to connect the two platforms. As of the recording of this video, System.io does have an active campaign integration, but still not a GetResponse integration. That means then that we would need to use a third-party cloud-based connector as we did with Gumroad in order to connect to our GetResponse account. So within Zapier, if you were to look for System.io, you'll notice that System.io does have a connection that you can make. Now in System, the event trigger can be a new sale or new opt-in. In this particular case, we would assume that we are talking about a new sale. We would then click Continue, the funnel and funnel page. We would test the trigger, and then we would connect to our GetResponse account. We would then create or update a contact in GetResponse. We would then choose the list. And then once we map the contact, we can then click Continue. We can test our step to send a contact to GetResponse. Once we verify that a contact has been sent and that we do have an updated contact in GetResponse, we can then publish the Zap. And basically, whenever there's a new sale made in our System.io account, that individual will then be added to our GetResponse list. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, GetResponse does have a website building application. If you go to the Tools area, what you'll see is that you have a website builder, and it's different from the landing page builder. We're going to click on Website Builder. And what you'll see is that you can click here to create a website. You can use a ready-made template, or you can use the AI Builder. For the sake of this video, we're going to start with the ready-made template. And we are going to choose an appropriate template. We are going to choose the template that we want, and we're going to use the template. Now, upon entry, what you'll see here is that you are on the home page, and that when you click on any of the elements, you'll see a menu come up on the right side. So every place where you click, you'll have another level of customization that you can add. You'll also notice that you are on the home page. If you go to this area, what you'll see is that there are other pages that you can customize. And we will look at some of these elements in the next video. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video. Welcome back. Now, once you're inside of your website, you're going to notice some standard pages, and you're going to have pages that are associated with a particular template that you have. And as you can see, this template has 4 basic pages. It also has a 404 page, a password entry page, a login page, and a registration page. You can manage this process by going to this element that says Manage Pages, and this will allow you to take out or add pages. So for example, if we want to delete a page, we can take one page out. That page will no longer be present. So if we go to our menu, we'll no longer be able to work with that page. And we can also add pages. So if we want to add pages, we can click this element. We can choose the kind of page that we want to add. If you're going to change the name of the page, what you're going to do is go to the ellipsis. You're going to go to these settings. You can change the name of the page here, as well as to change the nature of the page. When you click inside of this element, that's going to change the name of the page permanently. You can also change the URL to this page. You can click this element, and you can make sure that the page is going to be named what you want it to be. If you want the page to be hidden from the menu, you can hide it, or you can toggle it on and back off. And there are standard settings for the page. You can do an SEO description. You can make it so that the image that you want to appear is actually going to appear. Now, there are two additional elements and other page settings to explore. We're going to stop the process here, and we're going to pick it up from this element of setting up your pages. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. We are still inside of the GetResponse website builder. We're inside of the Manage Pages tab, and we have created a new page so that we can look at how you're going to manage the settings on that page. You've seen that what you can do is you can add in an image so that when your page is shared on social media, you'll know what image is going to be shared for your site or for the page. There's also an access area. And basically, it's here where you can determine who can access the page. You can make it a members only page. You can make the page just for members. You can make the page for password holders, or you can make the page available for everyone. The default setting is for everyone. If we change this to password holders, we can make the password what we want it to be. Your password does have to have a letter, number, uppercase, lowercase, and special characters. Once you have your password in, you can click this element, and then your password will then be saved. That means then that you'll need to make sure that individuals get the password in order to access this specific page. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You can make any of your pages so that they are members only pages. We're now looking at the page settings for this specific page. And again, you have this same menu available for all of the pages on your site. We are just looking at one specific page, and we're looking at the page settings on that page. But again, all of your pages will have these settings. So for example, if we close out one page and we go to another page and we go to the settings, you're going to notice then if we go to access, we see all of the same changes. Now, one of the settings on the Access tab is a members only page. That means then that the content of this page will only be available to individuals that have registered for your site. And finally, there is a header element where you can put custom coding, tracking coding, pop-ups, and retargeting here on any page that you have. And assuming that you have added all your pages, customized all your pages, you will then have your menu available. What you'll also notice is that there are global design elements to your pages. And you'll see that if you want to change the color scheme, if you want to change the width of the page, and you want to change the typography, the style of the buttons, you can manage all of these elements in one area in your global design panel. On each page, you can add elements to that page. We can click on this area, and what you'll see then are the design blocks. That means then that any design block that we want to add that is functional or appearance-based, we can add it. For example, if we want to add a video onto the page, we can click on the element and drag it to where we want it to be. We can then click inside of the element to customize the video link to what we want it to be. So you have an add element area on this specific page. If what you were doing is managing an e-commerce store with your site, you can click on your store settings here in this area. This would mean that you have a store that's already set up and you'd be configuring the settings at this point. Once your site is what you want it to be, You'll want to save it. Once you've saved your changes, you can then click this button that says Connect Domain. You'll want to give your site a name. You can choose to publish your site on the free GetResponse domain, or you can connect a domain that you have already set up in your GetResponse account. You can go to the drop-down menu and select the site that you want to add. Once you've done that, you'll then click Publish. And your site will then be added. If you click the link, you'll see your page on the web. So basically, you can build an entire website using your GetResponse account. Okay, so thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Wherever you have your landing page set up, you can also set up a chat area. You're going to see here on the editing page, within the landing pages, you can click on an element that says Add a chat window. We can click on that element. That's going to bring you to this page. You're going to see an element here that says you can add GetResponse chats. You're going to toggle on GetResponse chats. What you will then do is to publish your page. That means now that on the landing page that you have set up, you're going to notice here on the bottom right-hand corner that an individual that has questions can click on this element. They can then write in their question. They can then click enter, and they will have a chat window open with you. When you come back inside of the landing page, you're going to notice then that you have a message in your inbox. You can click that element that says to read the new messages. What you can then do is you can answer the individual. If you were chatting with the individual, you can decide that you're going to mark this element as closed, and you can click on the chat button. The individual that you were chatting with will get your response. So basically, you can open a chat on your landing page and you can chat with individuals if they have questions. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. GetResponse also has funnel tools. You can go to this left side menu and you can click on this element that says Conversion Funnel. That's going to bring you to this page. You are going to notice two tabs. You're going to notice a Funnels tab and you're going to notice a Lead Magnets tab. What you can do on the Lead Magnet tab is to click this button that says Add a Lead Magnet. Now, GetResponse has given you downloadable files as a lead magnet. Now, as of the recording of this session, GetResponse does have an Add Lead Magnet button, and you're going to come to this page. You're going to give your file a name. Once you have written a description, what you can do is you can upload an image representing your file, and then you can upload a file to deliver to your customer as a lead magnet. Once you've done that, you can then click Add. And your lead magnet will then be available to be used here inside of GetResponse. Now you will see other lead magnets. You can actually go to these lead magnets. You can go to the ellipsis. You can then edit the lead magnet and you can make changes. So if you want to use another image, you can do it. If you want to use another file in the place of the one that GetResponse has given you, you can do it. So basically, you can upload your own, but you can also change over the existing lead magnets that GetResponse has given you to use as a sample. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. If you go to your Tools area and go to the Conversion Funnels tab, that's going to bring you to this page. You may have seen the Lead Magnet tab. We now want to look at the Funnels tab. We're going to click on Create Funnel. In this particular case, we can create a lead magnet funnel. We can then click Save and Continue. We can then choose a lead magnet that we have available. And we can use the lead magnet that we have set up. We can click on the lead magnet and we can then click Save. So it's here that GetResponse is walking us through using a wizard to first create a sign-up page. And we will use one of the existing templates to build a lead magnet page. You can see the landing page and the thank you page. You can then click Next Step. It's here where GetResponse will allow you to edit your page. In every place where you put your cursor, you can edit an element. If you double click inside the element, you'll get the WYSIWYG editor. Clicking on top of the image will give you a menu here in this area. You can also customize the thank you page. And again, the customization works in the very same way as it did on the landing page. You can also add in elements to the page, and you have drag and drop elements here in this area. For example, if you want to drag and drop a video, you can drag and drop a video onto your page. What you can do is you can save your changes and you can preview your page. If you've added the elements you want to add, you can then click Next Step. You can give your page a title and description. You can decide on whether or not you want the page to be indexed in the search engines. You can use the GetResponse subdomain or URL, or you can add a new domain here in this area. You can choose to use a default thank you page, or you can customize your own page or keep the individual on the sign up page. If you want to have a double opt-in list, you can choose to have double opt-in here in this area. You can then click Save. Once you have saved your work, you can then publish the page. And you have now finished the first part of the process. You have created the landing page associated with your conversion funnel. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Once you've completed all of your tasks for the conversion funnel, you'll want to be aware of your settings for the conversion funnel. And you'll see the elements here in this area. You can then save those elements. Now, once you've completed the work on the funnel, you can then exit the funnel. You will then have statistics based on this specific lead magnet, and you'll be able to track the individuals that are coming to the page and those who are opting in, and then those who are moving on beyond your page. So this is an entire customizable funnel that you can undertake inside of GetResponse. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. GetResponse does have automated processes that you can run. If you go to the Tools area, you can click on Automation. What you can then do is you can start the process by clicking Create Workflow. And you can determine what kind of automation you want to run, or you can start from scratch so that you can determine what is available. We are going to click Start from Scratch, and we're going to click Start Now. GetResponse suggests that you do have a landing page, one message, and a registration form. We are going to click Next. We are going to give our automation a name. Now, what you're going to notice about an automation here in GetResponse is that you will start with a trigger, and this is where the process is going to start. And this is what you will have to define in order to set the automation in motion. Now, there are a number of ways to set an automation in motion. There are basic ways. There are also ways that are tag or list specific, so that when you tag individuals in your list, you can set off specific automations based on those elements. So as you begin to look at tags and scoring, as you can see, it can be very important for you to set tags when an individual joins your email marketing list because of what you can do with the automations. So in order to start the process, you are going to need to define an automation to start the process. So for the sake of this video, we're going to choose subscribes, although we can choose any of these elements in order to start a specific automation. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. You can start the process by clicking on an element to start a trigger. What you'll notice then is that your trigger is then going to show up on your workflow worksheet. What you can then do is you can click on top of that trigger, and what you're going to notice then is that you have properties for that specific trigger. For example, for this trigger, which is about being subscribed, if you leave the default setting, this would apply to any method for any list. However, we can customize this in the properties. We can select a specific list. Once we select specific, we can select the list. And if we have individuals that come to this list in different ways, we can set different automations for the way that they come to our email marketing list. For example, we can go to this specific subscription method. We can choose the method that we're going to use for this specific automation. So assuming that the individual comes from a specific website, we can then determine which website we want to use in order to say that we're going to set off an automation. We can say any website. If we want this automation to happen for anyone that's on our list, we can toggle this on. Or just the new people, we can leave this toggle off. So for any trigger that you have that you will be setting in motion, you will be able to customize the properties. If you want to come back and add elements, you can do it here in this area. So what you'll notice is that a workflow consists of a trigger or triggers, as well as actions. So now that you have set a trigger in motion, what you'll want to determine is what you want to have happen for this specific workflow as a result of this trigger. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now, the basic part of an automation requires that you have an action. And what you're going to see here is that there's a section here for actions. Now, between the trigger and action, you can have a filter. So for example, you're going to see here some of the filters that you can use, and you'll find that these are going to be more advanced concepts. You can also add in tags and scoring if that's what you are doing. What we're going to do is we're going to add in a basic action. We have said that when an individual is subscribed to a specific list via a website, we want to have something specific happen. And you'll see some of the actions that we have available. We can use wait time. So for example, we can drag and drop wait time here in this area. We can then click on the wait time. We can then set the properties. So for example, we can say that we want this process to cause the automation before it moves on to wait for at least 1 day. Once we have determined that, what we can do is we can then connect the action to the trigger. We can then set another action in motion. What we can do is we can say what we want to have happen is we want to send the individual a specific message. So we can drag and drop messages here. We can click on messages, and we can use one of the messages that we have available from an autoresponder. We can further customize this message. So basically what we have done is we've said that when an individual subscribes, becomes part of our list, and comes from a website, we can have that individual sent a specific message. All we'll need to do then is to connect these two elements for this to set in motion. We can finalize the process by having this individual tagged. Because once we tag an individual, what we can do is we can then set off another set of automations in other cases. So what we can do is we can drag in a tag. We can then click on the element. We can then assign this individual a specific tag. We can create the tag. We can then click add. So basically, this individual, once they go through this set of actions, is going to be given a specific tag. And once we have set this individual with a specific tag, we can set off future automations with this specific grouping of individuals. So you have a lot of latitude when it comes to setting automations, and it's a good idea to begin looking at a worksheet to see what is possible. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I'll see you either in another video or in another course. Welcome back. GetResponse does give you the ability to create an e-commerce store. You can go to your tools area. You can then go to the e-commerce tools. What you can then do is you can click on add a store. You will then see a link here that says create a store in GetResponse. You can give your store a name. You can then click create. What you can then do, you can either add a product later, or you can start the process of adding a product at the point of creation. You can determine what your product is going to be. We are going to give the product a description. You'll then want to set the price for your course. You will then want to upload a course image. You will determine how you will deliver the individuals to your course. And if you choose to redirect people to a site that hosts your course, you can place in the course URL. If you want to have the individuals copied to a separate list, you can do it. And you can determine which day they're going to start in your series. Or you can leave this toggled off. Once you have all the information in, you can then click Save. If you want to edit your product, you can go to the ellipsis, you can edit the product, or you can delete the product. And that is the first part of creating a product in an e-commerce store in GetResponse. We will pick it up in the next video. Okay, so thanks, and I will see you in another video.